Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation to present my work. My name is Stephen Kontra. I am an MS student at Oregon State University, and today I will be talking about how we are using a converging design methodology for the design and experimental testing of resilient structural spines. This project is led by Dr. Andre Barbosa, a professor here at OSU, accompanied by 4 other PIs shown here. Additionally, there are 8 of us students involved in the project from OSU, Colorado State, and Penn State. What we're trying to do with this research is integrate functionality-based design and multi-objective optimization into a single converging design methodology that will support the design of a resilient, sustainable, and innovative seismic lateral force resisting system. As engineers, we are used to designing for certain performance objectives, but not used to considering the other design criteria, such as sustainability goals like embodied carbon, for example. But for this project, we are taking those two things typically treated separately in the design process and combining them into a single design methodology that will optimize over resiliency and sustainability parameters. So now let's dive more in depth into our converging design parameters, resilience and sustainability. For resilience, we're designing for what's called functional recovery to minimize time to functionality. We're doing this through experimental testing and numerical modeling, and we're going to be able to consider explicitly performance in design for criteria such as exceedance of acceleration and drift thresholds. We'll be able to validate finite element mass timber models, and we will be able to gather data to further understand building downtime and recovery. To address sustainability goals within design, we are conducting a whole building life cycle assessment to quantify and track global warming potential at each life cycle stage, while also examining the carbon offset associated with alternative end-of-life pathways, including reuse, incineration, and landfill. So to go more in detail about the lateral force resisting system, we are using rocking walls as mass timber structural spines. These structural spines are strong, stiff, and elastic vertical elements that run the length of the building height to provide for a uniform stiffness, controlling story drift and minimizing the risk of story mechanism behavior. These structural spines are accompanied with a typically steel energy dissipation device that provide for system ductility. For our test, we will shake the specimen in 2 phases with 2 different mechanisms for energy dissipation that I will discuss more later. Finally, to control permanent displacements and minimize structural damage, post-tensioning will be added to supply self-centering capability. The introduction of these novel structural systems, such as rocking spines, combined with emerging mass timber materials, presents an opportunity to address both functionality and sustainability goals. So a 6-story mass timber specimen is used to validate performance and design selections specified by our converging design methodology. The 6-story shake table test builds on previous work done for mass timber structural spine rocking wall systems for 2- and 3-story buildings that have been done previously that I'll touch more on later. In order to make this test a reality, we are leveraging a 10-story mass timber building currently under construction on the UCSD shake table. After that 10-story test is complete, we are going to deconstruct the top 4 stories to form our 6-story specimen and redesign the lateral force resisting system using our converging design methodology for structural spines. Talking about the 6-story mass timber specimen, it is comprised of a large variety of engineered mass timber products. The diaphragms consist of cross-laminated timber, glue-laminated timber, nail lam, and dowel-laminated timber. The 4 mass timber rocking walls consist of CLT, cross-laminated timber, and mass ply panel, MPP, and the beams and columns are made out of laminated veneer lumber. The 6-story experimental shaking test will be done in 2 separate phases. The first phase will feature a U-shaped flexural plate. This device features a curved steel plate that dissipates energy through the yielding of steel plates as the wall rocks. For the second phase of experimental testing, the structural spines will be redesigned to include only buckling restraint brace as an energy dissipation device. These BRBs consist of a slender steel core encased in concrete to prevent buckling under compressive loads that can dissipate energy through steel elongation and contraction. So as I mentioned previously, This 6-story test builds on work done from rocking spine systems for 2-story and 3-story specimens. In performing our tests, along with the 10-story test from the Neary Tallwood team, we will be able to gain a better understanding of the behavior of innovative rocking systems, increase knowledge on functional recovery, understand the sustainability benefits of material reuse, quantify higher mode and torsional effects, and also quantify effects of vertical accelerations on rocking systems. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. Any questions for Stephen? I have a question. So you're reusing a structure that's on a shake table?
Yes.
And will you have to add some more things to, like some connections or something?
We may have to replace the U-shaped flexural plates if they're damaged, which likely they will be. So we will likely replace the U-shaped flexural plates and potentially also the post-tension rods.
Cool.
But this structure is designed for, the 10-story structure is designed for disassembly. So theoretically, it should be feasible to deconstruct and be able to reuse.
Okay, thanks, Stephen.